Hello everyone, let's take a look at our next problem. The highest power of x in, I'm not going to read this out, I'm just going to say some big complicated expression, but you can see it on the screen here. So we have this big complicated expression, and we're asked for the highest power of x, and the options we're given are x to the 424, x to the 450, x to the 500, or x to the 504. Now, you know, my naive instinct here is to just expand everything and see what happens. Of course, that would be a disaster. That would be a mess. Like, we have to have a huge number of terms. So another thing to do is kind of work from the outside in and just see the largest power of x we could get by combining large powers in various places. Like, should I work from the outside in, or should I work from the inside out? If I look at the most inner terms, the largest power of x I have is an 8. Let me write the whole expression out so that I can identify what I'm looking at as I'm speaking. All right. So what I was about to say is, if I look at all of the innermost terms, 8 is the largest exponent we have here. And that's raised to the power of 4, then raised to the power of 5, then raised to the power of 3. So we could compute what that is. Now, the only, another thing that could potentially throw things off here is that there are negative signs on some of these. So even if I do compute the largest power of x that appears, maybe that large power of x will also appear somewhere else, but the coefficient in front will be 0, in which case it won't actually be in the final answer. So we'd have to watch out for that at some point. But what I'm going to do first is by starting with that largest power here of 8, I'm going to figure out, when x to the 8 gets raised to the power of 4, then the power of 5, and then the power of 3, see what happens, and see if that's one of the options that we're given. But then I'm going to try and reconstruct that power from another term somewhere, just to make sure that the coefficient of that thing can't become 0. Now that I look at, okay, well, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to play around and do some computations and see what happens. Okay, so I get a 470 on that one. So perhaps that's not one of the options that we're given, which means we can probably rule out the x to the 424 and x to the 450. I hope I did this multiplication correctly. Let me just redo it in my head. I did not do it correctly. But it doesn't matter, because 480 is, again, not one of the options that we're given. So now I'm going to try and make a large exponent using another one of basically the same technique, working from the inside out. So it looks like the next largest, another way to make a large exponent is going to be from this term. So I'll have x to the 5 raised to the 5 raised to the 6 raised to the 3. Let's see what we get when we do that. Okay, here I get 450, but that's smaller than 480. So is there a way to get something? Oh, there's possibly another way to get a large power, is from this term. So x to the 7. It's clear how this works. I'm just going to do this multiplication of those 4 numbers and see what we get. What is it? 7463. Okay, so here I get a 504. Which is, not only is this one of the options given, one of the 4 options given, it's the largest of the 4 options given, so it has to be the answer. There's no sense trying to compute a larger power somewhere else. And if I work from the last of all these terms, this one here, 6 times 3 times 4 times 5, that's certainly, oh sorry, 6 times 3 times 5 times 3. That would give us 18 times 20, which is definitely less than this. So like there's no chance of these powers canceling out. None of those terms have a negative sign in front of them anyway. I'm confident in this. 504, that's the largest of the options given. We can construct that power by using this inside-out expansion. Not much more to say about this one. Just understanding how polynomials expand when they're raised to powers that, you know, the largest power of x will just sort of keep getting multiplied by itself or raised to the power that is on the parentheses outside that term. That's kind of how that works. If I have some more comments about this one or if I find a mistake, I'll put it in the description. Otherwise, thanks for watching.